Joe Biden and Kamala Harris have vowed to take away your Second Amendment rights through gun bans, gun confiscation, and
I'll be right back,
regulations. Now, Joe Biden is no longer hiding his real intentions, and we need you to take action now.
Whether it's a 9mm pistol or whether it's a rifle is ridiculous. I'm continuing to push to eliminate the sale of those things. But
the Biden administration is coming after your right to own any gun. Joe Biden has already issued executive orders.
Hey everybody, welcome to another edition of the Daily Bullet. My name is Paul Lathrop. I'm the Deputy Director of New Media for the Second Amendment Foundation. Joining me today, Amanda Suffecool. She is one of the two people behind Eye on the Target Radio and a frequent guest here. Amanda, thanks for joining us today.
Hey, well, thanks for having me.
As sometimes happens, we've had news upon news upon news, and all week, and then Friday, nothing happens. It's almost the exact opposite of what usually happens. Usually we get the Friday document dump from Washington, D.C., where they try to hide something and hope that the weekend goes by and nobody notices. And that really didn't happen today. All we've really got going is the Rittenhouse trial that has not yet wrapped up. So we're going to be, it's going to be a little bit on the audience. We want to know what you want to talk about.
Well, and have them pop out what if they actually saw pieces of the trial, what resonated with them, because I think that that's a legit point of conversation, because watching this trial was amazing to me. I didn't get to see all of it because it was 8 days, but snapshots and bits and pieces. And so every day when I had an opportunity, I'd come home, turn on the audio, actually turn on the video and then move to another screen, so that if something started to sound interesting, I could flip back to it. Mm-hmm. But it's really interesting watching it. But I mean, what are your general opinions going into? I mean, they're coming back to do closing statements on Monday, and then giving them their instructions, and then sending them off on deliberation. But so, what's your thoughts?
My thought is this: I'm wondering if one of two things is happening. Either the lead prosecuting attorney is looking to go back to law school and trying to get that sponsored somehow, or he's aiming for a mistrial and isn't counting on a mistrial with prejudice. I think this guy is intentionally screwing things up. He's pulling mistakes that me, as a definite non-lawyer and somebody whose brain doesn't always work 100% on track, can notice and say right away, hey, that's not supposed to happen. And he is absolutely at 2 to 3 times now, he's been absolutely excoriated by the judge, who is a lot more on top of his game than I am.
That judge is amazing, and I'm thinking eviscerated would be the word that the judge would do to him. Here's the giant knife, and there's your insides now outside. But it's I don't know what that attorney is hoping to accomplish, and I think that first let's start with, I don't understand now that all the videos came out, the videos that the FBI had, the videos that were available to the prosecutor, how in the world they could even justify prosecuting Kyle Rittenhouse. I really don't. And they did it so early. It wasn't like they deliberated and said, okay, there really is a reason, and there's something that we know that you don't know.
Right.
It really is. It just looks like if I were the prosecutor, ta-da! Look at this. It dropped in my hands, and I'm going to be famous. So let me just work on that, right? I mean, that's
And
because
this prosecutor is certainly no Marcia Clark.
it's I don't get it. But, so, and then you listen, and the judge tells him he can't say something, and then the first thing he does is says, well, I thought the door was still open on that. No means no. I mean, that's what I kept repeating. It's like, yeah, no means no. When I tell you don't do it, then don't do it, right?
We are starting to get great comments coming in. Let me get this one in from Diane. She says, I think the prosecutor wants the judge to call for a mistrial. He's pinning it on the judge.
I was hoping that the judge would call a mistrial on day 7, when the defense asked for that. But I think I don't know why the judge carried it on, and I'm not a lawyery person. So the question is, after, can they use that as cause for having this? Yeah.
I didn't even stay at a Holiday Inn Express last night. I'm not an attorney. No.
That's where I'm at.
The other thing is, go ahead.
Did you see where the prosecutor said, he kept saying to Kyle Rittenhouse, you have to agree with this, and then he'd make a crazy statement. You have to agree with this, and he'd make a crazy statement. And Kyle did we forget that he's 18 years old. I mean, so he's still in many, many, many ways a kid.
Yes.
And sitting there facing somebody who is trying to destroy you, and he's just calm as calm can be. And when he said, I don't think that's how this works. I don't think that's how. I mean, in my head, I was like, I don't think that's how any of this works, right? When he was talking about the AR-15 gets inside and explodes, and it's all decided to blow you up, right? Yeah.
One of my favorite when the prosecuting attorney, and I can't believe they put Rittenhouse on the stand. I can't believe it got that far. But the prosecution did such a great job of presenting the defense's case. I can't believe they put Rittenhouse on the stand, but they did. And then the prosecutor's up there saying, well, you had an AR-15. This guy had a handgun. Why did you shoot him? Because he was coming after me with a handgun,
Well, and if he hadn't shot you at 20 feet, he's not going to shoot you at 10. Did you hear that part of the statement? Yeah, because if he hasn't pulled the trigger, he's not going to pull the trigger. I don't think that's how that works either.
That's exactly right. Let me get this one in. This one from Ian. Watching the trial and moments of professionalism and other moments so juvenile, it was cringeworthy. Great. Bingo, right there. Cringeworthy. I was looking for that earlier. The court of public opinion on the judge is ludicrous. He's running a fair trial. And I got to say, hats off to the judge. He is doing an amazing job at trying to keep things moving forward and trying to keep things fair.
Right. I think he's giving more leeway to the prosecution than is warranted, but okay. I'm not sure. I've not been extremely impressed with Rittenhouse's attorneys. I think the prosecution has made the case for Rittenhouse, not the defense.
Let me throw this up, because this is the one thing I seen today that I wanted to talk about. This off NPR.org.
Right.
Prosecutors will ask to add some lesser charges against Rittenhouse. Basically, right now he's up for four different counts of murder, one count intentional murder, and let's see here. I'm trying to scroll down. 3 homicide-related charges: first-degree reckless homicide for killing Rosenbaum, first-degree intentional homicide for killing Huber, and first-degree attempted intentional homicide for shooting Grosskreutz. Those, and then he's got the only thing that isn't a murder charge is the possession of a rifle by somebody other than 18. And that,
that they're not prosecuting him for a straw purchase, but he pretty much reported out that he had his friend buy him a rifle.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the one that's, you're like, oh, clunker. You heard that one go.
Yeah. They might as well, they've got him dead to rights on jaywalking. They have him running down the middle of the road. They might as well prosecute him for jaywalking. They might get that one.
Right. And the thing is that, and it may be just terminology. Let's talk about the straw purchase for a second.
Yeah.
It may solely be terminology in the fact that his lawyers didn't explain the differences. But the question is, did he give his friend money to buy his gun? Or did his friend buy it and then he bought it from the friend? It's two completely different circumstances.
And was there time in between the purchase of the rifle and
when he bought?
Yeah, exactly. And and let's face it, I have relatives that are not yet 18. I could go buy an AR-15 with the intention of giving it to them.
Yeah, you could gift it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Gifting is completely different than straw purchase.
Yes.
But, as an example, I went to Pennsylvania. I bought a Tommy gun. I brought it home, and I had somebody was like, "What do you want for it? I'll buy it from you today. I want it. I want that gun." And I'm like, "No." But if I would have, what's the turnaround time? I know that the government has an expectation, but what does the law really say on turnaround time from the time that you buy something to the time that you release it out into the wild, if you will?
Right. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure. I
don't think there is any written, but the unwritten is there's an expectation if you are an FFL holder that you will not turn a gun for 6 months.
Okay. All right. Let's get a couple more comments in here. John Lutine says, "I wish the judge was on the Supreme Court. He certainly,
yeah.
He certainly shows the what am I trying to say? Attitude, not attitude.
I was gonna say bullshit filter.
There you go. There's a good." Warsaw Patriot says there's a big difference from an agenda and the law itself, and the law is always being changed and mismanaged.
Yes, truly, and so it really is. There's almost a spot where if a prosecutor is pressing charges that don't have any basis at all, there should be some recourse, and instead it just makes them famous. But did you see the? It was on Twitter. The statement that they'd been watching all of the stuff on the mainstream media about this Rittenhouse trial from the time that he was arrested, and they just realized that the victims were white. Their impression was the fact that he shot black people, and that's what was going on. That he was out actually looking to shoot someone of a different race.
Then the mainstream media accomplished their goal. I was going to originally say the mainstream media did their job, but that's not their job. That's actually the opposite of their job. But they accomplished their goal.
Divide us.
Yes, absolutely. Mm-hmm. Oh, hey, this is interesting. 42 Chilled has a great comment. 10 U.S. Code 246, Militia, Composition and Classes. The militia of the United States shall consist of all able-bodied males at least 17 years of age.
Oh, that's a great point, because if you look at each state, they have their own state militias also. Ohio is from 17 to 67, able-bodied. Why 67 is the top, I don't know, but able-bodied, and so it's really, and there's an official militia and then the unofficial militia, and every citizen that is not part of the police, the fire, the EMTs, the military on the official side is part of the unofficial militia in the state of Ohio, and they revised it as late as 1999 for the state of Ohio.
Yeah, wow, and I don't know Wisconsin's. So Warsaw Patriot says the only thing Kyle violated was the age law of 18 of handling any rifle of legal age. Nothing but a misdemeanor. So here, let's. I want to explore this with you, Amanda. I'm under the presumption that jury deliberation is going to take about 6.5 minutes, long enough for them to elect a foreman and say, okay, who here thinks he's innocent, and for 12 people to go right here, and then it's done. So I'm expecting
it's going to take them longer than that, because they've got to talk about every charge and raise their hand 4 times.
But anyway, so it's I expect it to be a quick verdict. I expect it to be not guilty on all counts. When that happens, do you think there's going, and getting your crystal ball out, are there going to be more riots throughout the country because Rittenhouse was found not guilty?
It's really funny, because, not funny, haha, but I was watching The Five the other day, and Geraldo was on there and was talking about how this kid, was looking for trouble and all of that. And Judge Janine was like, no, this is what America was founded on. Was he went to solve the problems, he went to first aid people, he went to put fires out, he went as a helper. And then this is what happened. So it's gonna be interesting to see how people react and whether those people even have the facts, because there's so many that are not interested at all in the trial or the facts or the details, and the mainstream media is not giving it the thought and contemplation that you and I are.
Right. Related directly to that, Diane Youssef says, I hope Maxine Waters doesn't do something stupid like she did in the Floyd case. You know what, Diane? I'm right there with you. I'm hoping nobody pulls something that stupid.
Right.
Let's see here.
Well, the good news is Wisconsin doesn't have part of the squad. Yeah. So that's because Michigan does, and so that would be who I'd expect.
Let's see here. John, who I love John's comments. Let me get this one up here. Be careful, you do not know Antifa and BLM on the jury. I don't know the makeup of the jury, but
right.
It takes 12 to convict, and there are not 12 Antifa members on that jury. Not that I will almost guarantee that.
It's going to be interesting. And did you see the spot where they were trying to film the jury so that they could?
Yes.
Yeah.
That actually, I brought that up yesterday when Mike Piwowarski was on. That was one of the stories we covered, that they were filming jurors, and I mentioned then that if a guilty verdict comes out of any charges, that it's the jury intimidation would be a huge factor. I wonder if it was blatant enough that the jurors know they were being photographed and trying to be identified?
I don't know. It's interesting though. It's the distance that people will go to move their agenda forward.
Yeah. Interesting. I'm not an attorney. This kind of makes sense to me, but there's a way to lawyer around it. Trust me. Chris says if they charge him as an adult, he can use a long gun. So, I mean, I don't know.
I don't.
I get your point, but
now see, they're wrong about the 18. It's 18 to purchase a gun. You're allowed to hunt before you're 18. You're allowed to have a gun before you're 18 if your job requires it and they provide it. There are other reasons. So it is not illegal for someone under 18 to have a gun. So it's the purchase of.
Yeah. Let's see here.
Yeah.
And Ian, boy, there's a good point. If you read Twitter, there isn't a large portion of the population qualified to be on a jury. I don't do Twitter. I don't do Twitter at all, period.
And the sad part is it's a jury of your peers. So, they had to. How do you find a jury of your peers? That's the hard part because there's so many of them that are like their whole theme is wood. Yeah.
Well, jury of Amanda Suffecool's peers. I don't know that there are 12 people there. They've got to be a broadcaster. They've got to be Second Amendment right. They have to be a Second Amendment activist, and leaders in both. Anyway, you get out. George Geller, love this one. Didn't Biden say if I had another son, he'd look like Joseph Rosenbaum?
Good line. Good line, George. That is. Did I do that? Yeah. I don't know. So Monday's gonna be very interesting to see what they do in the closing arguments. Did you see them negotiating for time about the closing arguments? Because the judge is like, now you don't need that much time. Obviously, the prosecutor is going to show every video all over again, because, yeah.
Well, I think the defense should show every video all over, especially that the one that's the most damning is that FBI drone video, and. Right. This hasn't been brought up on this show yet. I'm wondering, why did the FBI have drones up there, and why wasn't that video out a lot sooner?
Exactly. Well, I'm not going to put on my conspiracy hat, but if I had one to put on, I would tell you that it's the FBI started the riots. But okay.
Wait. All right.
Sorry, don't have that hat today.
Yeah. Let's see here. Warsaw Patriot. Let me get this up here. It's sickening the prosecutor Binger is defending Rosenbaum, who, by the way, is a 3-time convicted child predator. He follows up with, how the heck can you defend somebody like that? Right. It's his job. And I mean that quite literally. It's his job to.
He doesn't have to like him.
Yeah, exactly. Right. He just has
Did you see the thing where Kyle Rittenhouse? They ask him a question about his. I don't know. It was in that whole thing about what T-shirt was the arm shot guy. What T-shirt was he wearing? What was he doing? What did he say? And he said, "You mean when he came up and said that he was going to, if he found me alone, he would cut my heart out?" Mm-hmm. And then he went, "Oh, no, I didn't ask you that. I asked you this." It was like, okay, yeah, good point. That's points made.
you know, again, the kid's 18 years old and he's up against a career prosecutor. You don't get to be lead prosecutor in a major case by being a doofus. Although, you know,
the facts are out. The jury's still out on that.
Anyway, but at 18, see, when you relate that exchange, it almost seems to me like Rittenhouse is playing 3D chess. The prosecutor is trying to play checkers.
I don't know. You know, I just think that whoever prepped Rittenhouse did a great job with him.
John says the FBI video is next to Hunter's laptop. Yeah. All right.
And what? Ashley's diary?
There you go. Why? I don't even know why they're looking for that, and I doubt that's Second Amendment related. But yeah. Anyway, let's do this. We're coming down to the bottom of the hour. Amanda, what's coming up on Eye on the Target Radio? Because we're coming up on Sunday. What's going on Sunday for Eye on the Target Radio?
Sunday we're having John Richardson on talking about the makeup of the NRA board and the people who have been nominated for that, and just the different things that are happening with the NRA. John, with his blog, Only Guns and Money, he does a great job of detailing facts and giving you the base of where it came from. And so, since this is such a volatile topic, he does a great job of just the facts, you know, sticking to the facts. And then we're doing Women for Gun Rights, and I have veterinarian Lori Blackwell that is going to be on actually in a half an hour. We're going to do the Women for Gun Rights show on OpsLens.
Very cool. So the OpsLens, I know that because of the Polite Society podcast is also there. But if you go to, it's on any of your smart TVs, go to search for OpsLens, where you would normally search for Hulu or any of your other entertainment options.
Yeah, it's a channel. Yeah,
it's a channel just like any of the others, like Netflix or Hulu or whatever. But you can load it on your smart TV, and you can see Women for Gun Rights, and on Monday nights you can see Polite Society podcast. There are a lot of other great shows that show up on there as well. So I think that we're going to go ahead and wrap it up here then. Amanda, thanks again so much for stepping in today.
No problem at all. It's always fun, Paul. Always fun.
All right. Folks, I do want to thank you for joining us. Thanks for all the comments. We made one topic stretch a whole 30 minutes. That was mostly because of your comments. Thank you very much. Join us on next week, Monday through Friday, 5 p.m. Central Time. And don't forget, join us not tomorrow, but next Saturday as we restart the Weekly Bullet. Our first guest on the Weekly Bullet is going to be Teresa Einecker of CNJFO. And the first person coming to join me as a co-host is going to be Mike Piwowarski of The Rundown. So next week is completely full. Come join me Monday through Friday at 5 p.m. Central Time, Saturday at noon Central Time. Thanks for watching, everybody.